some sort of knee problem. I think it's called being 42. She's going down. She's going down. She's yelling, Tipper, you better move. You better dance.
Hey. We just had to stop and start recording again because I realized the whole time I was talking, I was like, up in it. Hello. I mean, Kara's like a normal human being over here talking, and I'm all like, this is Megan. This is the Megan Whitmer show. Quiet mouse over here. I'm already entirely too loud. Okay, so, pause for a moment. Did I tell you my Trash Witch happenings on Saturday? No. Let me tell you all about this. Wait, this is the Witch's Magic Murder and Mystery Podcast. I'm Kara. I'm Megan. Hey, guys. Okay, so Saturday morning, Jason and I get here super early so I can make cinnamon rolls. Megan knows this. You all may not. So I am sitting there stirring the butter with my little, baking spatula. Set it down on a flat surface in the middle of the flat surface. You know where those windows are? In the middle. Walk to get milk from the bar area, in the front of the coffee shop. We're headed back. Jason's talking to me. I hear a smack on the floor. The spatula's in the middle of the room. The window's here. The spatula's here in the middle of the floor. Mm-hmm. So then I was jokingly, whoever's doing this, can you stop? I am tired this morning. I've got clients. I don't have time to clean up your messes. Yeah. Jokingly. Evangeline. Yes, exactly. So then we're chatting again. I go up to tell Jason something completely irrelevant, but we hear another slam on the floor. And it is so you know the KitchenAid mixers, the plastic things that go on the top that you can have the little spout on them you can pour through. That, which I wasn't even using, was on a shelf on the table that I use, was on a shelf on it in the middle of the floor. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So then I was like, not again. I am not doing this. We're not doing this today. Yeah. Said that out loud. It's not funny. This isn't funny. I'm busy. Not cleaning up your messes. So then I'm putting the icing for the cinnamon rolls in a piping bag. I do half of the cinnamon rolls. I'm taking them up to Kirby so she can put them in the case. We hear a smack on the floor. The piping bag is laying in the middle of the floor. I had laid it in the on the back of the table, which is up against a wall. That's so weird. Yeah, and then I did dishes and came back over here and I was like, I'm done with you. No more messes. No, I don't like it. No. Mm-mm. This is an old building. It is very old. It was built when the roads were dirt. I mean, we have the Trash Witch joke for a reason. Yeah. Oh, stuff happens. That one time your chair was moved. Mm-hmm. And people will message us or comment on the YouTube thing and they're like, yeah, there was an orb at this time. There was an orb at this time. Yeah, we know. Mm-hmm. We know it's when weird stuff happens. We're used to it. It's friendly. I can't remember all the things that we said and before we had to start recording. Oh my God, again. I don't even know. I did. Oh, I was going to mention on our Instagram. Oh, yeah. One of our listeners who commented about how he and his wife have now caught up on all the episodes and they knew all the words to our anchor ad. Because we had kept that same one on. And he said, he was like, I do Kara's part, which I think is incredible. The funniest part of the whole thing. So much. You all can just now learn the new version. Yeah. We're going to keep doing that ad over. As long as we possibly can. Hilarious. So at this point, it's the best joke to me. I love it. It's good. I love it. Let's talk about Anchor again. Hey guys, we're actually not here with an Anchor ad. We're just no. Do we get credit for that too? Do we get double credit for an Anchor ad? It's hilarious. So anyway, here we are. Yeah. I've got all the nieces and nephews in the coffee shop. Yeah, you all probably can't hear it, but there are babies next door, and it's really cute. This little voice. They're so cute. So cute. So you have a story today. I have a murder. The wood chipper murder. Oh. Yep. It's a gruesome one. Yep. How do you think her name's pronounced? I did listen to a couple different YouTube videos to figure it out. First one was a British guy, and I was like, nope, that's not how I'm going to say that. Nope. Suddenly have a British accent. I did the whole entire time. Of all people. The whole entire time. Okay, I believe it's pronounced Helle. It's Helle. I need I want to make so many Helle jokes, and this won't be appropriate
No,
because she's the victim.
The victim.
So I just need us all to like
Soak it in for a second before I start.
and also go ahead and acknowledge my deep struggle. Okay?
We're giant children.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. I appreciate your support.
We love you all so much. Okay, so Helle was an only child. She was born in Denmark, July 7th, 1947. She was a super smart girl. She went to school in a small village north of Denmark. She attended college in England. She lived in France. She got a job as a stewardess with Capital Airways. She flew to Africa a ton. She was in and out of Brussels or Frankfurt. She enjoyed the thrill of discovering new places. She just was like a little traveling Tina. She does
Traveling
travel
Tina.
You have to add like the same letter for somebody like
I was like,
pessimistic.
is that a
Patty,
skit?
like,
I don't
traveling
know.
Tina.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Negative Nancy.
Negative. See,
Yeah.
cautious Kathy.
Debbie Downer.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Traveling Tina.
Traveling Tina. It just came to me.
So,
All I can picture
we
is
just
like
got to watch that. It just came to me.
it just came to me.
Just
All I can
naturally.
picture is like Tina Belcher, like traveling all these airways to Denmark and stuff.
I'm actually not friends with this girl anymore, but I used to be friends with the girl who that was the whole reason she became a stewardess, is so she could travel all over. And,
Yeah.
and she really, I mean, it was really cool to see all the places she got to go.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I'm not a good flyer. We would die.
we would. Oh my
But
God! If we
that
were in
does
charge
appeal
of
to me.
that,
Yeah, like we're the ones who would be in charge of calming people down when things get scary on an airplane.
no, God, remember we were in that exit row and they were like, "Can you all handle this?" And we were like, "No, as long as we get to play with the slide, yeah, we're fine."
You've never seen someone study the manual. You know how like in the seat in front of you, they have like that plastic card that's like, here's all the steps. Here's like, okay. Like we're gonna be tested on it later. And I'm a nervous flyer. But I just prefer to like keep
Not
my eyes
acknowledge
closed and pray.
anything.
Yeah, but Kara's more like, I'm gonna be prepared for every possible thing.
Everything that could happen.
And I was
I
like,
just want to open this door and pull the lever so the slide comes out.
it was
You
great.
go first.
Yeah.
You're next. Ma'am with a child, have at it.
Don't worry, I've read
I will go
I've read
last.
the pamphlet. I know everything.
Megan's going to be down there first to catch you. Here you go. Here, sir. Yeah. Don't forget your bags. I've got you.
No, remember it said like, don't take your belongings, and me
Oh,
and Kara
we were
we're
like-
both like, please
We got
taking my purse.
We got to take
Thank
all
you.
this. We got to take all this.
Okay, that was
Okay.
I've forgotten all about that and how much I loved it. I think I even took a picture
You
of
did.
you looking at the thing.
You posted it on our stories, I think.
Don't worry, guys. Kara's prepared.
Okay. So when she discovered that Pan Am Airways was looking for a stewardess in Copenhagen area, she was like, I'm going to apply. Here we go.
Yeah.
She was one of 8 candidates selected out of a group of 200. They were sent to Miami for training courses. She had tons of experience in the past in this field. So they were just like, you're first in class. Like, this is apparent. You're extremely intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
here we go.
It's
Have
like that
at it.
Gwyneth
This is yours.
Paltrow movie, right? Where she's becomes a stewardess. Put the
Yeah.
wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. That movie.
Yes.
Austin Powers. Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So she said it was a great position. She said it was populated, the area, like Miami, populated by airline employees, stewardess, pilots. Like the area she was in was just great.
Mhm.
She was like, I'm under the same roof with some male coworkers and stewardess. She was like, we all kind of like mingle together, if you know what I mean.
Oh, did you?
But her friends were like, one of them was quoted saying she was far too cautious to have been promiscuous, but she did have a few lovers.
Oh.
And they said like single stewardess liked the airline pilots both as like future mates or just like a good time during a layover. She was like,
It would have to be a weird
this
life.
is the lifestyle.
Yeah.
She was her friends were just like, this is what she did.
Yeah.
So she met Richard Crafts in this field.
Was
Richard,
he a pilot?
Mm-hmm. He was born in New York City in December of 1937. He was one of 3 kids, 2 older sisters. His dad was a super successful businessman in Manhattan. He was just like living the big life, dreaming of living in the suburbs. And then he purchased a home in Connecticut, and it was just like one of the highfalutin areas.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "This is me."
I like picture Connecticut as
money.
highfalutin
Oh,
in
of
general.
course, of course. Okay, so it said a former World War One pilot and college football player. His dad must have been just like living this life and planning a life for his son Richard, because
Right.
he's the only boy.
Oh.
And so they were just like, his dad tried to do best by him.
You
He
know
tried to
how
live
his
vicariously
how
through
his
him.
sisters can't possibly have like
Exactly.
as
They
impressive
could
of a life.
never have done anything as
but let's
great.
let's just so much hope for that man though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they sent him to private school, obviously, because he had to have the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
But he struggled a lot in school. He did not do so well. He
Mm.
just was not the best. So he dropped out and joined the Marines in 1956.
Oh.
Yeah. He was in the military. He was like, I really love aviation. I really want to fly helicopters. He trained in fixed wing aircrafts and became certified as a pilot in the late 50s. So Richard was transferred to Korea and Japan. During his time there, he flew some planes for Air America, an organization that was recognized branch of the CIA.
Oh.
Yep.
Mm.
Apparently, he flew a number of like missions to Southeast Asia and like Vietnam and like all this stuff. He was all over the place for like military type things. And he just did this until he returned to the United States in 1966. So late 50s to 66. So about 10 years.
I'm just making myself a note so I don't forget to talk about it later.
Yep.
But that whole Vietnam thing.
Oh, okay.
And the war and all that. Okay.
Oh. Megan's having some flashbacks to a previous life, I guess.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so they were like, as a pilot, though, he was kind of struggling to find work when he came back to the U.S. He flew for a variety of places, and then he got a pilot's job in 1968, so 2 years later with Eastern. It was then one of America's largest and busiest airlines. And they said it was the first time in his life that he was making a comfortable salary. Because the military, you don't really make a comfortable salary.
Yeah.
And they said he had a super busy schedule, but he still found time to be social. He wanted to go out on the town. He wanted to be in that scene. He met Helle. In 1969, but he was also engaged to somebody else when he met her.
Mm.
She didn't care though. She was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is just I'm traveling."
It seems like something must not have been great in
yes,
that relationship.
yes.
Anyway.
So they continued to see each other. He continued to see other women. They were just like, it is what it is.
Oh,
This
so
is
it's
the
pretty
lifestyle.
casual.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were on and off for a few years. Then they would fight sometimes in public even, but they'd always come back to each other. So her friends were like, we're a little suspicious of this man. We're not his biggest fan. And they were just like, also, we told her all the time, like, we didn't understand her attraction to him because she was gorgeous, intelligent, like, all of the things, and he's just not. They said that he was kind of like a stocky, like, 5'8", like, just your normal average man.
But just because he wasn't
They said she could have
hot enough?
well,
I don't
he was,
know.
they
That's
fought, I
annoying
know.
to me.
I was like, they were just like, he's just suspicious. It's not her type. And I'm like, well,
I mean, if you tell me it's like, yeah.
Clearly it was for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that.
But like, I don't know. That's so subjective.
I know.
Like,
But her friends,
your friends
made sure
don't
that,
think
like,
he's hot enough?
oh, her
Come on.
friends said that several times, like in these things, like wasn't her type.
Talk about his personality or
know.
that he was
I know.
gave you weird vibes, but
I
don't
know.
tell me you don't think he was cute enough. That's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. So in 1975, she became pregnant with his child. In November of that year, they got married and moved to New Hampshire.
Why am I defending him, do you think?
I don't know.
I know
'cause
what
you're
he
not gonna-
does.
You're not going to want
No,
to.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
specifics. The what?
Specifics?
Thank you.
Mhm.
Of this story, but I know he's the bad guy, so what's wrong
You
with
don't know
me?
the Pacific Ocean.
Why do I do that?
Okay, so the following year, they bought a one-level ranch home in the city of Newtown, Connecticut. She had her first child, and then over the next few years, had 2 more kids. Then she returned back to work. She was a stewardess, and she hired an au pair. Her name was Dawn Marie Thomas. She was 19, and she was to care for the kids while she was working and while he was working.
Mm. Do you mean he wasn't really working, Kara?
No, he liked to spend a lot of money.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So They said that together their income exceeded 125,000 a year, and that was in the 1980s. So they were in the top 5% of wage earners in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the au pair was 19. Do we know how old he was or she was?
He was born, what did I
Am
say?
I like,
37.
he was born in 37?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
So he was
that's
like,
math.
yeah.
We're not
Oh,
going to do
Megan hates
math.
numbers. Okay.
But he was older.
Yeah. And this was like 75, 76.
Okay. That's fine. I don't care. He was in his 40s.
Yeah. So they had tons of money at the time. And this says that Richard managed all of the family's finances. And so he was just constantly spending. He had a habit of buying guns, and he had lots of them. So much so that he had a specific space there to store his collection. Lots of shotguns, handguns, automatics, blah, 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 like just weapons. I don't know. He had crossbows, hand grenades, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. They stated that it was enough to arm 50 men. They said he spent hours tending to his collection, cleaning, polishing, all the things.
Why?
Like their little toy cars. I don't know.
They're not toy cars.
No, and they said that whenever there was a gun show, he was there. New Jersey, Connecticut, whatever, he's there in all the aisles, spending all the money. Yeah. So there was a little bit of trouble in the marriage, other than him constantly spending their thousands of dollars on guns. They said he beat her, so she had bruises a lot, even when she was out in public. So people were starting to question, like, what is going on? Is he physically abusing you? And then one of her friends later told the police that she was physically abused by her husband, and said she would never forgive Richard for what he put her through during her first pregnancy.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So they said after the children, Richard would constantly leave for days at a time. He was never home. He would just pack his bags and leave, claimed he was working. He would return several days later. And her friends were like, she never knew if he was away on business, gun show, or somewhere else. And since he controlled all the finances, she had to pay the house expenses. So she had to like work hard to like pay all the bills because he's out gallivanting and doing whatever he wants. And it says that he bought landscaping equipment like tractors, mowers, a $25,000 backhoe, which is super pricey in the 80s. Never used that front yard. This article said was a mishmash of rusting, broken machines, and it was an eyesore to their neighbors. So it's like they have this like all this money, but he's like, I'm gonna.
Which seems like there's something wrong mentally, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So in 1982, even though he was flying with Eastern and he like his house was having issues, like they always needed repairs and stuff, he decided he was going to become an auxiliary police officer in Newtown. He was not paid for this time on the police department. It was like a volunteer type thing. They said he was very serious about this job. Very serious. He took it so seriously. It said that he would, so much so that he would frequently hang out around the police station. When he was off duty, he'd be there. They said that he would call or he would respond to police calls without authorization. He'd hear it over the radio and be like, I got this, guys. And they'd be like, no, this,
You're not.
this isn't your call. We actually have officers that are taking this call. Go on somewhere.
I have so many questions about what happened to him when he was in the military.
Yes.
Because it seems like the guns and this job all
the obsession with
take him back to that.
Yeah, and his obsession with like spending and stuff. So in 1986, he was actually hired as a police officer in another town, Southbury. His salary was $7 an hour, which was, they said, well beneath his pay as a pilot. But he paid his way for expensive training seminars, and so he learned all the new like procedures and all that stuff. And they said that he was just so very serious about it. And he would buy like new police radios and like all the new equipment and just like all the fine and fancy things because he wanted to be the best of the best. Yeah. So it said that he was seeing other women. And she was very aware of it, but she was just like, I'm gonna deal with it. Like,
Hella was?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm just gonna deal with it. I just like it is what it is. We have 3 kids. I'm working. He's supposed to be working. Like, I just don't know what else to do. So she's like, I do know that our marriage is struggling. I'm gonna talk to him about divorce. I'm gonna talk to my friends about divorce. But then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a divorce attorney and hire a private detective. Private detective's name is Keith Mayo. He was a former Connecticut cop, and he was just going to get evidence. So I think that probably during that time, she was thinking, they're not going to grant me like anything that I need during this divorce hearing if I don't gather all this
Yeah.
information.
That's true.
So Helle had known about his affairs with other women and went about all of this. As of November 19th, 1986, a friend of hers decided to drop her off at her home in Newtown, Connecticut, and this was the last time that anyone but her husband saw her.
Oh.
Yeah.
November 19th, 1986.
Yes.
Okay.
So during the next few weeks, her friends tried to call her. Richard just kept telling them different stories. Some would hear that she had gone to visit her mom in Denmark. He'd tell her others that he had no clue where she was. She just ran out on him. And then he was like, maybe she's in the Canary Islands with a friend. And then people were like, yeah, people
Maybe
were
that's
like,
where she is.
but I'm that friend and we're not there. Like, that was our place. Like, what are you talking about? So they said, Helle once said, if something happens to me, don't think it was an accident. So, like, as she was talking about divorce with her friends, she was just like, guys, like, it's
Can
not
you
gonna-
imagine
it's
one of your
not
friends
gonna
saying
stop.
that to you?
Yeah.
Like if you were that afraid that you would even say that to people,
Yeah.
if something happens to me,
It's not gonna stop. That's gonna be the end of me. Yeah. Okay. So December 11th, investigators located Richard on duty at the Southbury Police Department where he was working night shift. They asked if they could ask him some questions. So here's how the report goes. Question: Richard, did you know that your wife hired a private investigator? Richard: no. Oh, all my papers, guys. My sister has my iPad. Huh. Question: did you know that the PI has documented your relationship with a New Jersey woman? No. Why would your wife tell her friends that she was afraid for herself regarding serving you divorce papers and tell them to check on her if something happened? I cannot imagine her saying this. It's completely out of character for her to say this.
that's not really answering the question.
Yep.
Why would she do this?
Exactly.
Oh, I can't imagine her.
I can't
saying
imagine. She wouldn't say that. I don't think she should say that.
that. That's not.
That's not she wouldn't say that. Another question. On November 18th, when Helle came home, when and why did she leave? Answer. Those answers are in my statement.
I don't care. Say them again. We're asking you again.
Yep.
And I might ask you another time, sir.
Yeah. Sir.
Sir.
Okay. Question. What is the story with your bedroom rug? Apparently you removed it or cut it into some pieces, cut some pieces out of it. Can you explain this to me?
Mm-hmm.
All the rugs in the house are being removed and replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Questionable. What was spilled on the rug in your bedroom? Kerosene.
Why? Good Lord. Kerosene heater, maybe?
Yeah, okay. Did you cut pieces out of the rug? Yes. 2 feet at a time. It's easier to remove it that way.
Mm.
Is it? What did you do with the rug you took out of the bedroom? Dumped bedroom rug in the Newtown landfill 1 week ago. It was blue in color. Question. Why have you been telling everyone different things about Helle being missing, like her mother being sick? Answer. I didn't want to say my wife was gone and I don't know where she was. I didn't know where she was. Question. Has Helle received any mail since she's been missing? Answer. No. She's gotten no letters since she left. She usually gets about 2 letters a week.
That's weird, too.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to find out why they asked that question? Oh, okay. Because I was like, what a strange question to even ask.
What? Okay, so they said whenever they asked questions, he had an immediate answer. They said he was cooperative, but he was very guarded. I mean, that's clear in his answers. But they were like, he's not caught in any outright lies, just like half truths. And then it's just like, maybe for a man that has a wife suddenly missing, maybe we should be a little more apathetic towards him.
I mean, even that answer, I didn't want to say she was gone. I
Yeah.
didn't know where she was. It's
Yeah.
not a bad answer. Like,
Yep. Yeah. So they have this brief one-page statement, and they were like, this isn't helpful at all. But they were just like, I don't like, what do we do? We think he has something to do with it though. So December 25th, police obtained a warrant to search their house and like the area that they lived on. They got a few clues. Obviously, the carpet that they were talking about, they had removed from the floor. The nanny had come forward and said, so there was a dark grapefruit sized stain that was on the carpet, but he had removed it. And then there was a blood smear that was uncovered on the side of their bed. Then police found his credit card records, that he had a ton of purchases before her disappearance. One was a new freezer that they found in the home, new bed sheets, a comforter, and a $900 charge for a rental of a wood chipper. Oh no. So, later on, a private investigator who had been hired by Helle, he found in papers provided to him by her a receipt for a chainsaw as well. And they later found the chainsaw in a lake in that town. Forensic experts were able to find that it was covered in hair and blood that matched hers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I tell you, I mean, any like dismemberment, I'm just like, what? How?
Yeah. And then also a snowplow driver knew Richard, came forward and said he had seen Richard using a wood chipper at night near the shore of a lake during a severe snowstorm. He said it was late on the night of the 19th of November that Helle was last seen. He was like, this is around that time. So police were like, you know what, with this new info, we're gonna go scan for some clues in that lake area.
I just think, like, can you imagine a few things? Being the person who finds a chainsaw that's covered in blood and hair.
Yeah.
Like, what on earth? And then also, sort of seeing the $900 wood chipper, like, well, that's weird that he,
Yeah.
and like putting it all together.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So the article says that what he didn't know at the time was that pieces weren't just cast in the direction that he was aiming it. So, some parts didn't make it into the water.
Oh,
He
no.
literally took the wood chipper to the side of the water, trying to
Yeah.
shoot all pieces into the water.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it. Totally.
Okay, so they said small fragments of her bone, strands of her hair, broken teeth, mail, which she had placed in her pocket the day of her death, was on the ground. They found pieces of metal, 3 ounces of human remains, nail polish that she had on her, bone chips, fingernails, typo blood.
Oh, fingernails. Oh,
All
God.
of these were hers because they all were hers, same everything. So they were like, holy heck. Like she literally put
He put her through a
yeah,
wood chipper.
he literally put her through the wood chipper.
Like, this is the mother of your children.
Yes.
Presumably, at some point,
Mm-hmm.
you cared for her.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Okay, so police theorized that it started in the bedroom. He knocked her unconscious with something blunt, which they said maybe explains the bloodstains that we found near the bed. They then think he carried her body to the freezer, left it there for a decent amount of time. And then they said he may have taken her body out of the freezer on the night that he was seen on the river by the witness, chopped her into large portions with the chainsaw, and then put those portions through the wood chipper.
I remember, like, when I first saw Fargo.
This is, yeah.
Right. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
what a horrible way to kill someone or to, get rid
Yeah.
of a body. But not ever
Thinking it was like based
a
off
real
a true
thing.
story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't realize this was I thought maybe Fargo got that idea from this, but I didn't realize it was all that.
Yeah. So this investigation, the forensic investigation, was led by renowned forensic scientist Dr. Henry Lee. And they said Richard could not be tried for his wife's death until Dr. Lee could prove that she's dead. So they were like, there's no body. There's obstacles here. But they were
There's
like, we have all this
hair,
evidence
teeth,
that we are
nails,
matching back to her.
a
So they were
chainsaw.
like, okay, we've got a tooth, a full tooth. We're going to match it. They were able to match it to her dental
thank God.
records.
Thank God.
Yep.
They were able to match it to her dental records.
mhm.
One tooth.
One tooth.
Wow. I didn't know that was possible.
How would you know which one? Like, I feel like these two are the same pretty much.
I don't know.
These two are, I don't know. Okay. So, they were like, heck yeah, we've got it. Here it is. Then the Connecticut State Medical Examiner's Office accepted the evidence, issued a death certificate for her, and then they arrested him on January 1987. Wow. They were like, okay, there's so much publicity for his trial. We're going to move him to New London, Connecticut. They began trial May of 1988. And then July 15th, 1988, a mistrial was declared because the jury became deadlocked 11-1. Who is that one person that is like, oh, I see these photo evidence.
Yeah, what
all
more
these
evidence do
things,
you
but I
need?
don't think it's her. It wasn't him. We just have somebody
We know
say,
he rented the wood chipper and had
we have
freezer.
receipts of it. The chainsaw that was in his name was found in the water with
The
her
rug
DNA
being
on it.
cut out.
Mm-hmm. The housekeeper.
Yeah, what on earth?
Yeah. Okay. So he was retried, but the trial was moved to Norwalk, I think that's how you say it, Connecticut, due to a massive publicity surrounding the case, obviously. And he was found guilty November 21st, 1989. This was 3 years and 2 days since Helle was last seen alive. January 1990, he was sentenced to serve 50 years in state prison.
Why just 50 years?
Yeah.
I mean, 50 years is a long time, but like, why
Maybe,
not
like-
life in prison?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'll probably end up being life in prison.
Right, but still, like, what if he's like
What if
eligible?
he gets paroled?
Yeah. Exactly. What if he's a good citizen in prison, and he's eligible for parole?
Can you imagine, like, their children?
Oh no, like no. So their children went to her parents, but still, that's horrifying.
Just to know
Yeah.
know what happened to your mother and that your dad did it.
Yeah, and being able to read about it when you're old. Oh God. Nope. Okay, so this, like Megan was saying, Fargo and everything, there's so much pop culture that surrounds this. So 1989, there was a film called The Wood Chipper Massacre. Children killed their aunt, froze her, and dismembered her and put her in a wood chipper. Obviously, the Coen brothers, I really enjoy their stuff, actually.
Mm-hmm.
No Country for Old Men is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1996, Fargo. The pilot episode of Forensic Files in 1996. This was their what they featured. 1997, New Detectives outlined all the events of this in their episode titled Body of Evidence. 1998, case was featured on History television series Crime Stories. July 2012, Investigation Discovery revisited the investigation in their case, like Blood, Lies, and Alibis episode called The Wood Chipper Killer. And they were just like focusing more on like Dr. Lee's forensic analysis and how he got to get them to sign off on that. Like, can you imagine having to literally piece all these tiny pieces of evidence together to where you can get this man convicted?
I mean, it's just horrible.
Horrible.
But I wonder what, and I don't mean as an excuse, just trying to figure out the human, like, what happened when he was in the military.
Oh, yeah.
In Vietnam and
Well, and also Daddy having so many grand plans for him
yeah.
probably did a little number on him as well.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear from like people who knew him when he was younger.
Yeah.
And maybe before and after
Yeah.
his military time. My dad and I actually were just yesterday talking about Vietnam because he was in the Army at the time and he was down in, I cannot think of the fort, but somewhere in Alabama and the fort's closed now. But he got orders to go to Vietnam and his brother, my uncle, was already there. And he ended up not having to go because it was the end of the war
Right.
anyway.
Mhm.
But I was like, I'm so glad you didn't have to go. And he was like, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
me too. And he was like, well, because my uncle really struggled when he came
Mhm.
home. And my dad was like, yeah, he's like, I saw people, I knew them before they went and when they came
Yeah.
back, and people were just messed up. He said there were 6 people who shot themselves when they came
Right.
home, like in
Yeah.
his barracks.
Yeah.
And just, you know, he said they had pictures and they would talk about the things they'd done.
Yeah. And that's how it is. Like one of my good friends, like we used to have movie nights and stuff, and he just had horrible PTSD
Yeah.
from the stuff he had to do.
I can't imagine without, and I don't
Yeah.
mean that as an excuse for this guy.
Oh yeah, no.
We say it all the time.
Right.
On the Patreon episode I just did.
Yeah.
It's like you can understand or know something awful happened to make a person like this, but still doesn't mean that it's okay.
Yeah.
But I just wondered. And when you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like
Plus his obsession
Bo
with the
Bergdahl.
guns
He
and all
already
that.
had mental health issues, but then putting him through military stuff, it just
Yeah. And surrounding himself with guns and all of that.
police and
It's like he was trying to get
yeah.
like recreated or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gosh.
Yeah.
Awful. Oh, they're poor kids.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're so welcome. Yeah. We're really good storytellers, guys.
Thank you all for
Yeah.
listening. Do you have anything do we want to talk about? Let's talk about the Patreon for a second because
Yeah.
we just recorded the episode for it,
Yes.
and we have big plans
For
starting in January.
2022.
I know. We're gonna
Man.
add a few things to the tiers.
Revamp our room
Maybe, yeah, we're gonna revamp our podcast room a little bit,
a little bit.
and we're also planning maybe on possibly adding a tier to the Patreon.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you've never checked out the Patreon, we would love for you to.
Yep.
We've got at least 2 extra episodes a year.
A month.
The other one, and then a video.
Yep.
That's kind of, you never know what that's going to
Yes.
be. And then also just some other little perks for you, and then we're adding those perks.
Yes.
starting
And
next year.
also, I mean, you can love us however you want to, but by being a Patreon member, Megan and I can travel more to kind of see you all and
Yeah.
set up stuff. So
in the hopes that someday those kinds of
we
things
can have,
yeah,
like, yeah.
that'd be great. I think it'd be so fun to
Yeah.
talk to you all.
Yes. And have little meetups and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if you can't join the Patreon for
No.
any reason, it's
Totally
totally
fine.
fine. I still love
Just
you just
keep
as much.
listening how you're listening
Yeah.
and keep messaging.
You should join the Facebook group though.
Oh,
'cause it's a
yeah.
good time.
I was going to say messaging us and chatting with us on Facebook is so much fun.
Yeah, all the ways that you might want to reach us, you can find in the links in your show notes.
Yep.
And we would always love getting to interact and
Yes.
talk and hear from you.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of fun.
gotten so many good emails lately with story ideas.
Oh my gosh, it's honestly in a good way, overwhelming. It's just so fun that we
Yeah.
have new ideas of stuff we
Stuff
didn't
I've
even
never
know.
heard
Yeah.
of. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
So much.
Love you.
So much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.